Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this latest QGate webinar where we'll be discussing the 6 elements of a successful CRM. Now, just before I get started, I am aware of some technical issues today with the live webinar, and I've certainly received some emails that some of the registrants are getting an error message when they're trying to click this link. I apologise for any technical mishaps, but hopefully everybody should be able to get a copy of this recording. Okay, my name is Josh Dhaliwal, and I am your host today, and I'm kindly joined by the wonderful Yasmin Cooper as my co-host. Yasmin will be keeping an eye on the Q&A for your questions. Yas, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi everyone, I'm Yaz or Yasmin. I'm QGate's marketing exec. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on the Q&A. So yeah, feel free to ask me questions.
Okay, it's also worthwhile quickly mentioning that this webinar is being recorded, so please don't worry about making notes. We will be making a copy of the video available on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Okay, hopefully by the end of the day today, and you'll receive an email notifying you that it is up and available for you to watch. If you are already watching this as a recording and you have any questions, then please feel free to use my contact details you see on the screen to contact me directly. Okay. Now, I know that we have a few new names that I'm not already familiar with amongst our registrants. So for the benefit of those who don't already know QGate, we are a operational efficiency and CRM consultancy. That specializes in the use of Dynamics 365 and Power Apps to help solve our clients' business problems. Okay, we typically work with business owners, heads of operations or IT managers in small to medium-sized organizations and businesses of up to about 250 people. Okay, and some of the things that they typically tell us is that they're either scared that they're being left behind by digital developments and are unable to scale their businesses with the systems that they currently have. Or they're annoyed at how difficult it is to extract any kind of meaningful data from the business on which to make decisions because it's all locked up in multiple spreadsheets or in multiple systems. Or they worry that they will lose customers because their processes are currently too cumbersome or too manual and they lack automation and workflows. I don't suppose that sounds familiar to any of you. In case it does, then maybe we should probably talk. Okay, so what do we have in store for you today? We have a fairly full agenda for the next 20 minutes or so. And I want to kind of start off by covering what is a CRM? When is a CRM not fit for purpose? We'll talk about the 6 key elements of a successful CRM, as well as the consequences for a business of operating without a CRM. I will then be kind of quickly summarizing the main points before I hand over to Yaz to help me with any questions or comments that you've submitted. Okay. Now, let's start with what is a CRM. How many of you already know the answer to this question? Those of you who think you do might be surprised to learn that it's not necessarily a piece of software, okay, but a process. The definition of a CRM is a process in which a business or other organization administers its interactions with customers. Now, I'll be coming back to this in a few moments, but I want to take a look at what a CRM system for me looked like back in 1995 when I was only 21 years old and fresh out of university, and when I started my working life. Now, I recall every desk in the sales office I worked at in Cavendish Square in London having one of these. Now, You could argue that many CRM implementations have changed very little since these days, in that their primary usage is still contact management and providing a centralized location to store customer contact information, including names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, etc. Although I'm pretty sure we weren't using email back in 1995. I think we were more likely to be using it to store fax numbers. Okay, now before we go into look at what a CRM should be, let's take a few moments to look at what issues the lack of a CRM typically throws up for a business. Now, the first one of these is a lack of customer insight. Without a CRM, you may not have a centralized location to store and organize information about existing customers, incoming leads, and potential customers. And this can make it difficult to gain a comprehensive understanding of the needs and preferences of your target audience, which can lead to ineffective marketing and sales efforts. Ineffective communication and collaboration. Without a CRM, teams and departments within the company may not have a shared system for tracking customer interactions and sales progress. This can lead to confusion and duplication of effort, resulting in wasted time and resources. It can also result in poor customer service. Without a CRM, a company may not have a clear view of customer history, leading to poor customer service and support. You may experience difficulty in measuring performance. Without a CRM, it can be difficult to track the performance of sales and marketing campaigns, making it hard to identify what's working and what's not, and being able to make any necessary adjustments. Without a CRM, a company may struggle to retain customers due to lack of communication, poor service, and also, difficulty in identifying at-risk customers. So overall, not having a CRM can make it difficult for a business to effectively manage and grow its customer base, leading to decreased revenues and growth opportunities. Now, coming back to what a CRM is, for most businesses, it's where you create, track, and manage leads, collate information on your prospects, and add activities such as calls, emails, and general information on the contact, company, or opportunity that is going to help you convert that prospect into a client. Now, if you use opportunities, you'll want to track the progress of that prospect through the various stages of that opportunity, from initial inquiry through to qualification, identifying their needs, delivering your proposal, and eventually, hopefully, through to closed won. You want to be able to track those opportunities by salesperson, by department, by region, and your marketing function will want to track where those leads come from. Do they come from referrals, Google search, existing customers, events that you may have attended, etc. And as far as CRM implementations go, some go a step further, and this is where it gets interesting. And you might have heard me speak about this next bit as the kind of the stick to beat salespeople with, and that's reporting. You want to know who has what in their pipeline. You want to know who's closing deals and who isn't, and who's on target and who isn't. Now, I've been in sales for coming up to 30 years. So I've sat through dozens of the dreaded weekly sales meetings where the whole premise is to use the sales pipeline to manage salespeople. And then again, I think for a lot of businesses, this is a CRM. And a common gripe for most firms is that the salespeople aren't using the CRM to its full capacity, and often because it's too complex, and they don't see the benefit to them or understand how it's making their jobs easier. Instead, they associate a CRM with the dreaded weekly sales meeting. So what more can a CRM become? Now, I touched on marketing earlier, and often the extent of marketing in a CRM is for the salespeople to track or ask the question of a prospect: how did you find us? How did you come by us? Okay, but there is so much more that you can do. A CRM system should provide tools for creating and managing marketing campaigns, including email marketing, social media marketing, other forms of digital marketing. It can store templates that the salespeople can use to deliver emails at different stages of the sales cycle. It can store the results for your campaigns, who opened and interacted with a link or a call to action in the email, what content they viewed on your website, and how often they revisited the email or your website. It can also be used to house and manage automated campaigns for your prospects. All those little touch points, reminders as part of a nurture campaign that are so important as part of a long sales cycle. Okay. It can also be used to store all the up-to-date content that a salesperson or sales department needs. So case studies, product information, presentations in all different formats for both internal and external use. So employees are not left wondering, what is the latest piece of collateral, or who has it, or God forbid they're using key sales time to create something new for a prospect because they don't know that a piece of content already exists somewhere, because it's either stored in a silo or on someone's desktop where no one else knows of its existence. And when any piece of collateral is updated, everyone knows where the latest version is. A salesperson looking at a prospect can see a snapshot view of all the communication shared with that prospect by anyone in the business, and an audit trail of their interactions with it. And so many businesses I've spoken to will use an external email marketing tool such as MailChimp, to which they export a list of all their clients and contacts and prospects, a process which is time intensive and requires someone to manually download a CSV file, which they upload to the email marketing tool every time you want to send a new campaign. So if you want to know why your marketing department no longer sends out your newsletter with the same enthusiasm as they once did, you have to look at the process required to do that. I also want to talk about customer service. So this is an interesting one. I've worked in companies that use an entirely different system for managing support tickets, tracking customer interactions and history, and also providing customer support. I've worked in businesses where there'd be a weekly 1-hour meeting between sales and support. A total of 8 man-hours were set aside for sharing information between departments on key issues, opportunities, and what this results in is the duplication of effort, of manually updating the CRM in the conversations that have already been recorded in the customer service tool. And did it avoid the salesperson picking up the phone to an upset customer with an upsell opportunity when they had already had a long-term unresolved customer service or IT related issue? Absolutely not. Okay. You also need to look at what other essential business systems you use: email, document management and storage, accounting, inventory management. And are these all the different things that your CRM should integrate with? And how is that process being currently managed? Do you have a holistic view of the customer and business data? How much of your processes require the manual input of information from one system to another? Once an order is created in your CRM, what happens? The opportunity is closed won. What happens next? Documenting these processes can help you understand bottlenecks, the requirement for manual intervention, even if it's just a simple case of somebody sat there copying and pasting information from one system to another. Now, this was supposed to be the 6 key elements of a successful CRM, but at the last minute, I decided to add an extra one, and this one's mobile access. Now, what a CRM should do is it also provide access to customer data, sales data, and marketing data to enable sales and service teams to work on the go. We're not only kind of talking here about remote working or home working, but kind of giving employees access to key information when they're en route to a client, when they're at the client's site, which might be an office, it might be a building site, it might be a porter cabin, a factory shop floor, the back room of a petrol station. Now, I've spent 8 years working in software sales, hearing stories from salespeople who were ill-equipped with devices and technology because the client or prospect they were visiting didn't have a meeting room. But instead, they were in a sales conversation, and in some cases, conversations with business owners who stood behind the shop counter, serving customers at the same time. So give some thoughts to the situations where your employees, not just salespeople, maybe having conversations with clients and prospects that are different to the norm, and what do they need access to? Okay. So when is a CRM not fit for purpose? Now, a large number of firms that approach QGate already have a CRM in place. I think something like 2/3 of all inquiries that we've had in the last month about our services were from businesses that already had a CRM implemented. In some cases, it was a legacy system that the business had outgrown. And in some cases, it was a fledgling system that simply hadn't gotten off the ground. And again, that could be for several reasons. The most common one is salespeople dislike the CRM because they find it, too time consuming to manually enter data into the system, which is taking time away from sales activity. And this can be a genuine concern, especially if that is as a result of, something that can be avoided. A new lead, for example, coming in via a form on your website. Is there any reason why that gets delivered to the sales team as an email and not an activity for a follow-up in your CRM? And automation is one of those magical things that lets information flow seamlessly through your organization. It's likely that if you have a legacy CRM or something that was purchased off the shelf, that it hasn't been customized to the specific needs and processes of your sales team, which can make it difficult for people to use use it effectively, especially if the business flows don't mirror the sales cycles in your business. Lack of adoption or low adoption. If a CRM system is not adopted by everyone, it can be difficult for those people who for everybody to see the benefits of using the system, and may lead to a lack of motivation to use it. One of the things I'm doing in a couple of weeks' time is I'm hosting a webinar. Yes, I'm not sure if we have the landing page for it yet, but I think we'll probably have it ready by the time that the email for this webinar recording goes out, where I'll be discussing the common pitfalls associated with deploying software in a business. And one of the areas I will be covering is the lack of buy-in at all levels, which leads to a finger pointing exercise. Well, if they're not using it, why do I have to? Looking at functionality, there's really kind of two issues here. One is the lack of the right functionality. I can't use it for what I need to do, which results in me having to use this additional tool to do what I really need to. And secondly, it could be that things are just too complicated. Okay. I know that I've had conversations with businesses which have deployed a CRM and then taken 2 steps backwards, going back to using Excel spreadsheets, because what they need to do in a CRM is either too complex or there is a lack of training. If incumbent and new employees are not properly trained on how to use the CRM, they may struggle to understand the full feature set that's available and all the capabilities, and may be less likely to use it. Even more so if the person tasked with training them has little or no motivation or belief in the system to start with. Okay. So really, in terms of a quick summary of what we've kind of looked at today, a CRM that meets the specific needs and requirements of your business should increase efficiency. Okay, a customized CRM can streamline business processes and automate repetitive tasks. Okay, and that should eventually help you save time and reduce the risk of errors as well. Okay. Uh, with a CRM, a business can have a centralized location to store, organize, and access customer information. This can make it easier to analyze data and also gain data and insights that can inform marketing and sales efforts and campaigns. A CRM can be designed to facilitate communication and collaboration amongst teams and different departments, which can lead to more effective and efficient operations. A CRM can also help better understand and serve your customers, which can lead to increased customer satisfaction and loyalty, and also ultimately reduce churn. And finally, a CRM can enable real-time data to make data-driven decisions. This can help identify trends, patterns, and opportunities, improve performance, and help you make better decisions. So overall, a CRM can help you as a business better manage and grow your customer base, lead to increased revenue and also business growth opportunities. And it can be tailored to fit the unique needs and requirements of your organization, which should result in a more effective and efficient system. Okay. Now, I've gone on for a little while there, but I guess this is kind of where I want to bring in Yas, who, as I mentioned, is keeping an eye on the Q&A for any of your questions or comments, good or bad. I think you're on mute, Yas.
Apologies. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, so I do have a question that's come in from an attendee. Josh, do you have any thoughts on the choice of CRM from the wide range that's available?
That's an interesting question, and it is one that I do have a strong opinion about. One of the common mistakes that people make is by going out and evaluating all the different CRM options available in the first instance. What you should start by doing is asking the fundamental questions around what are the KPIs in your business or your organization that you want to improve. Okay, does your organization have a target? Are you aware of any issues that are limiting you from reaching those targets? And if you're not aware of what those are, we can still help. We do this by looking at all of your internal processes and making suggestions on improvements, and we'll be very kind of frank and honest with you. We have here at QGate, we have partners who can help you get set up with a brand new out-of-the-box CRM in a matter of hours, right through to a fully customized system that incorporates all your process flows and can take anything from 6 months from initial meeting to completion of training, and that requires data migration from multiple existing sources and integration with accounts or an ERP system. I guess a good example to probably use is, we've been approached by a business that wants to increase revenue by 50% over the next 2 years. They have 100 staff who are all really busy all of the time, and productivity hasn't improved in line with the increase in staff numbers as expected. And this is really kind of where an audit of their existing processes and understanding of what each department does can help remove bottlenecks, those manual processes, and the repetition. Okay. Now, the choice of technology in that decision should be the final decision, because ultimately what you want to understand is, does it deliver what we want it to, as opposed to what it can help us do? I guess I hope that final bit makes sense, but I'm more than happy for you to reach out to me if you want some more thoughts on that. Do we have any other questions?
No, that's all. That's everything.
All right, fantastic. Well, again, if you are watching this as a recording, then you will. I have shared my contact details right at the beginning, which please feel free to ask away. Okay. We will as I mentioned earlier, be sharing a copy of the video recording, so please keep an eye out for that email with a link in it. Anyone watching this as a live session or recording and you'd like to discuss your CRM, then please feel free to reach out again to me directly on the email address that you see on the screen in front of you. I did also mention very briefly, we will be looking at a next webinar at some of the pitfalls and lessons learned from CRM and software implementations in general. So if you'd like to receive more information on that, please again, look out for the email or please send an email through to me. I want to thank everybody who's joined us for this live webinar, and also those of you who are watching the recording, and also thank you to you, Yaz, for keeping an eye on the chat and questions. And yeah, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks everyone. Bye.